People pleasing is out, okay? We are not pleasing people. Hey my lovelies, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I would like to say a very big happy, glorious new year. I pray that this year is filled with everything you want and more. So today's video, we are going to be focusing on the ins and outs of 2024. The first thing that I want to say that is in for this year is sticking to what we say we will do. Because I find that when you first begin a year, you put so much goals and aspirations down that you're going to achieve this by this month, you're going to do this by this month, and then coming towards the end of the year, you haven't even done 3, probably just done 1. You've got all of these lists of things, but you haven't done it yet because it's unrealistic. Set realistic goals, because if you're trying to set all of these goals and it's unrealistic, and unrealistic being that you will not take the action to make those goals a reality, so why are you setting them anyway? Don't set a goal that you cannot do, okay? Set a goal that you can do. Because you just put stress on yourself, because when you are doing your end of year review, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And the reason why you were not able to accomplish those goals is because it was unrealistic. You wanted to show up. You wanted to be a millionaire. You wanted to open up a business, but you never took the steps to make it happen. You may have put your vision, you may have put your ideas down, but the action that needed those ideas to come into fruition, you didn't do. So today, I just want to say, one thing that is in for this year is sticking to it till it becomes a reality. Whatever vision and goal that you've put forward for yourself, stick to it till it becomes your reality. Number 2, one thing that is in for this year for me is obedience. Because God has called us all for something, and we have been sitting on it. And God is saying, what are you doing? You are wasting time. You think you're going to be here tomorrow? Do you think you're going to be here next week? It is time for us to live like today is our last day, which means if God has set a vision in your heart and you are still sitting on it, this is your sign that it's time for you to stand up and make it happen. Stop sitting on what God has said for you to go and do. Another thing that is in for this year is being our authentic self, showing up as myself, not as somebody else, not trying to be liked by somebody else and therefore trying to change up the way I am to please somebody else. In fact, people pleasing is out, okay? We are not pleasing people. We are not doing things for people. We are doing things for the glory of God. Because Colossians chapter 3 verse 23 says, and whatever you do it heartily as to the Lord and not to man. So if I have this idea in my head that I'm doing things for God and I'm not doing it for man, it allows me to be my authentic self, because God knows me as I am. He knows me from back to front. God knows me from head to toe. And that allows me to be my authentic self. Because one thing I noticed that growing up was I struggled with authenticity because I was trying to be validated by others, trying to be liked by others. And I'm sure you have the same experience too. You're not able to be your authentic self because you're too fixated on what others are thinking about you, what others are going to say, that you're not able to express yourself as yourself. You're trying to be who others want you to be rather than who you really are. So this year, 2024, be yourself. It is okay to be yourself. Listen, social media is trying to create clones of each other, but we must step out of that in 2024 and be our very own self, because there is nothing greater than being unique and being yourself, because that is who God has called you to be. Freeing ourselves from the opinions of others, that is in this year. Out with what people think about you. What people think about you is not your business. Who cares? If someone thinks that you're not good enough, if someone thinks that you're not beautiful enough, if someone thinks that your fashion is whack, who actually cares? Free yourself from the opinions of others, because wherever you do, someone is going to have something to say. There could be a certain item, right, 5 people are going to love off that item and another 5 people won't like the item. Is that going to stop the person who manufactures the item from manufacturing it? No, because it's one of them ones. You like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Now this year, I feel like this year for me is all about being productive in faith. And being productive in faith means becoming everything that God has called you to be, and spending more time and building intimacy, being more intentional with your relationship with God, making God a priority and not a choice. Because I find that sometimes we can sometimes make God a choice. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Sometimes I want to... Listen, God should be your first priority in everything that you do. Okay? And if we're trying to glorify God, we need to keep him our priority, which means I'm going to him first before I go anywhere else. After all, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways, acknowledge him. Acknowledge him. That acknowledging him is making God your priority. Being intentional about making God a priority and not making him a choice. Okay. All right. Do you understand? Okay, let's go. Next things out. So now we're going to cover the outs of 2024. Number 1, procrastination. Because procrastination is the reason why many people are not able to achieve the goals that they set for themselves, because they procrastinate and I'll do it tomorrow and I'll do it tomorrow. What if tomorrow doesn't come? No, but what if tomorrow doesn't come? We need to stop thinking about a tomorrow and start living for it today. We need to live as if today is our last day on the earth, because I feel like when you have the mindset that tomorrow is not there anymore, you are more determined to action things out rather than waiting for tomorrow to be the day when you do it. That is not what you should be doing. We need to be doing it as if we're working for God. Do you know what? Nowadays I've decided that I'm going to show up in every aspect of my life, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to do things as if God is my employer. As if God is going to be marking me. I mean, he's going to mark me on the day of rap, but as if right at this present moment in time, God is going to be doing a review. He's going to be ticking boxes every single day. I mean, he really is, he is. But doing things with more intention, being intentional in pursuing the goal, making the goal a reality, and not doing things just for the sake of doing them. Procrastination is holding you back. You need to cut procrastination off by working as if tomorrow is not going to happen. Laziness, number 2. For outs in 2024 is laziness. Because let's be honest, we can be lazy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with resting, but there is something wrong where you know you have something to do, but you're just not trying to do it. You're letting laziness get the best of you. And laziness and procrastination, it goes together. You're too lazy to make the action. And then come towards the end of the year, you're asking yourself how and why didn't things work out the way you wanted it to? Because you procrastinated, and maybe because you were tiny bit lazy too. You were too lazy to do it today, too reliant on the tomorrow, and I think that is the problem. So that needs to get out. Number 3, pouring from an empty cup. Now, I'm someone who loves to be there for others. Like, I love it. I love advising, encouraging, motivating, inspiring, doing everything I can to impact others and make others feel good. But I cannot pour from an empty cup. The only way you can give your best to others or, help people is by making sure that your cup is full. And the only way that I can truly keep my cup full is by being with God. Because God is where the fullness comes from. There is no fullness of life without God. So building that intimacy and being intentional about building intimacy with God is where my cup will be full. I'm not going to be pouring from an empty cup, because that will only leave me burdened, tired, and weak. And we're not trying to do that this year. Number 4, comparing your journey to others. Listen, we are all on a different race. We are all going to a different destination. Where I'm going is not where you're going. So there's no need for you to compare yourself to me or me to compare myself to you. Because the truth is, We are not the same. Our destiny is not the same. Our future is not the same. Our race is not the same. How I'm going to get to my destination is not going to be the same as how you will get to your destination. Which is why sometimes when you read these self-help books, it doesn't really give you a good overview of how to get to where you need to get to, because the reality is that is that person's journey and that's how they got to where they were supposed to be. But then the question is how you're going to get there. And the only way you will know as a child of God is by seeking God about where and how you're going to get to where God wants you to be. Number 5, starting what you can't finish. Because let's be honest, how many times have we started something and not been able to go with it the whole way? We end up stopping halfway. Guys, let's be serious now. This is why we're not able to achieve the goals that we set for ourselves, because we start and we don't finish. Let me speak for myself. I really have started things that I could not finish. But then again, I understand that life gets the best of you. Things happen, circumstances change, and you're not as available as you used to be to do the things that you wanted to do. Fair enough, but if you're going to start something this year, make sure you finish it. Don't leave it hanging. Do not leave it hanging. Because you never know the value of something unless you show up for it every single day. That is my ins and outs of 2024. Be intentional about everything that you do this year and place it before God. Acknowledge Him in all your ways. Any way that you take this year, acknowledge God. Make God your priority and not a choice. Put God first and you will never be last, because at the end of the day, whatever God has promised for you in 2024, it will surely come to pass. But you need to start by acknowledging Him, and He will indeed make your path straight. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please do subscribe, like, comment and share, and do have a wonderful month, because we are gonna start doing this more often. We are gonna start showing up, because this year I am very, very intentional about showing up in every aspect of my life.